Hi, love. How are you? The first one in. Thank you for the love, babe. Home? Off? Oh, shit. What's up with you? Look who it is. Dana. Hell yeah, it's hot out there today. Fuck all that. I'm not trying to even be outside. And tomorrow I gotta go to some gym session. My friend is leaving town next month, so I want to get one in before he leaves. He's usually the one that records my when I'm out of the in like visiting another gym. We traveled even as far as Philly on a train just to go to a gym session. So he's willing to travel anywhere, anywhere. Oh, you know, you'll see the posts, but I don't put those up right away. I let that drag, cause that's gonna be like one of the last. Cause I don't know anybody that's down to leave, like to go out of the city to just to go to a gym. We travel as far as like 2 hours away, just to hit to a gym. So, thank you. I'm gonna kill it. That's what I'm gonna do. And tomorrow's only chest day, so it's not like I gotta kill myself with multiple different workouts. It's just focus on one body part. Chest. Thank God. It's just every week throughout the month. Every week I'll change it up and do a different workout. I don't even know what to talk on today. But I do have a couple ideas and certain discoveries that I've been coming to a conclusion about ourselves and stuff. I'm good. How are you? Like, people definitely gonna hate me for this one though. I'm gonna rock your whole religion, your whole beliefs on this one. It's kind of hard to take this one in, like with everything that's going on as far as you seeing that the whole sky scenery is all fake, allegedly. I don't know how true it is. Hey, what is it? That mama teacher. Hello. Um, the line behind me. That's the one I carry with me at all times. The lion represents a lot. It's male dominance, king authority, hunter, but always remain calm because you know who you are. You don't have to show off for anybody just so that they can recognize you. It's like they know who you are, period. At the end of the day, it's all about knowing yourself. Self-love, self-care, self-acknowledgement, self-respect, and self-esteem. One thing that people don't even talk about anymore is your self-esteem. I don't hear nobody talk about their self-esteems anymore. Like, whatever happened to the self-esteem? That thing went out the window nowadays. Here we go again. Every time, man. Like, you can't make this up. Can't make it up. You a Leo? Does that mean July or August? I think Leos are August, correct? Or is it July? Correct me. Shoot. Those of you who are out there from New York, I know it's torturous out there today. Join live as invite. It's a gas. Happy Friday, y'all. I just want tomorrow to come through. And shoot to this gym tomorrow. Just giving it a few just to see. Let the room fill up a little bit. If it don't, it don't. You're here because you're meant to be here. If you're not, sorry for you. All right. How do I introduce something that I just recently discovered and came to the conclusion of how this whole world is designed behind? You know, we all were part of the whole creation of this whole universe, correct? We are particles of God who created everything in the universe, the cosmos and the galaxies. Now, when it comes to that, I found this new truth to myself, and this is just my perception, this is my perspective and my personal discovery. I believe we have a higher self of us, the best version of us, the perfection, what we're aiming to achieve, to accomplish, to perform, and to become, right? If you only knew and realized that you already are that perfect version. The thing is, you have to now make it tangible. It becomes substance. It becomes a reality. It's more powerful in the unseen realm than it is in the physical form. But always people think that this 3D world is more powerful than the 5D, 11D, and all those other dimensions, right? While you sleep, your spirit travels. And sometimes you come across some information. And one of the prayers that I always pray is, revealed to me what never been revealed to no man ever existed. I always ask for that, right? Like, I want to know something that no man has ever come to discovery. And one of the things recently, man, this kind of like mind boggled me and left me dumbfounded all at the same time. It boggles me to this moment and bothers me, and I'm sure if it bothers me, it's gonna wreck y'all thinking. So the thing that comes to as a reality, you got a higher self, a higher version of yourself, right? So that person is actually the one who's leading, guiding, directing, instructing, and is constantly watching over you. And that person is you. Now, God left you in charge of yourself. You know how sometimes people think, oh, God blesses me, God does this for me, and God does. No, it's yourself. It's your higher self, though. It's that version that you're aiming to become. You're working towards to actually become a realization of who you already are. I explained it the other day and I can't even explain it now. It's your higher self leading, guiding, directing, instructing this 3D form version of yourself, helping you to attain, become, and realize who you already are. But because you have been dumbfounded, you have been watered down, conditioned, manipulated, systematic, reprogrammed to think less than what you truly are. You're powerful, you're infinite, you're significant, and you matter with plenty of qualities and you don't even realize the potential and power and the significance you carry behind you, right? That version of you is constantly watching over you, protecting you. That version of you is the one that's guiding you on your path to fulfill, to achieve, to accomplish, to succeed, to perform, and accomplish everything that you have been created and destined for. Now, on that note, that's the one that's constantly, hello, how are you? So that's the one that's constantly watching over you. And that version of yourself, it's trying to have you. It's trying to have you. I'm blessed. I'm great. I'm wonderful. You will never hear no other version of where are you from. I'm from New York City. New York at that. If you want to ask race, then it's half Puerto Rican, half Salvadorian. But we all energy. And we're all particles of God. We have an essence of God, right? And I don't understand how people read the Bible and they say that they are not a God. $50? Nah. Younger than that. It says that you've been created in the image of God. And I always ask people who are religious because I'm not. I ask them, are you a God? And they say, no, they're not a God. I'm like, how you figure? This is where hey, Chris, this is where the mindset actually comes into play, right? The mental state. So I ask them, if you're not a God, so what are you? They say they're human. I said, okay. I said, and you do read the Bible. They always say yes. I'm like, okay. Take it a little step further. It said that you've been created in the image of God. What does that mean? I said, it says that you're a child of the Most High, correct? Yes. So you're telling me when a dog mates and has babies, it gives birth to a hyena? I'm good, Lynn. How are you? They're like, no, it gives birth to a dog. I said, exactly. So how is it that a God created you and you're not a God? Like, make that make sense, because it doesn't make sense. If the Bible's constantly contradicting itself. It says, a God who is so loving and forgiving, but is willing to put you in hell if you do something wrong. Like, it just phantoms me, like how people don't question things when it comes to, thank you. It just leaves me dumbfounded, like how people don't think. They don't question things, man. Like, you got intuition and instinct that kind of leads you and tells you information, and it's right in front of your face and you can't even see it because you're so conditioned and programmed to believe and told what to do because you're constantly being a sheep. Nah, man. You've been given a mind and an imagination and creativity so you could create, be, and become. Hey, Laura. Right? And at the same time, people don't realize who they are. It's who you are. What's up, Trini? Always showing love on Instagram. Thank you. That's what I'm here to, trying to bring awareness to, right? Like, break the conditions that you've been taught. You got to go backwards and unlearn everything you have been taught. That's what it comes down to. Like, how do you unprogram everything you know? It's actually the total opposite. Whatever you've been taught is the total opposite. Everything. From your God to everything. I know exactly what you mean with that. Because when you become awakened and aware is awareness. Awareness is just basically being conscious and conscious of everything that's going on. Of course it's hard. It's challenging because you're going against the masses. No one wants to stand alone. Everybody wants to stand and fit in the crowd. I refuse to. Hell no. I will not. I agree with you on that one. I will not conform to the ideas of what other man believes. How is it that one book is going to, just think about this, right? How is one book supposed to give the instructions for it's technically 7.5 billion people, that everybody's supposed to follow this one book, right? Supposedly, allegedly, if you're religious. If that's the case, how is that not programming? How is that not conditioning? How is that not manipulating? But it's one of the biggest revenue income making per year in the trillions. Think about that. It's actually the top two. And I think it falls in second or first place. I don't recall. Of course, because how do you tell someone that is 40 years old, for example, something that they believed all their life, and you just come and wreck their world? People are comfortable, you know what I'm saying? This is why they get complacent. And when you get complacent, you stay stuck. You stay stagnant. You never progress. You never grow. You never develop. You never become the full version of who you've been created. This is why you was put on the earth for, to become. But you haven't realized it's because you're blind. You sleep. And even in the Bible, it says, peel the scales off your eyes. Like, really read that book. You gotta learn how to decode it, though. Remy, you're here. How's Florida? How's the Manana? Dr. White, hi. Thank you. I see you here. I made it. She's in the pool, swimming. Yo, it's hot up here. You left and you brought that heat up here without being here. I was married for 20 years with a man who was domestically, oh my. Into the church. Okay. Now, there was a dude named Dr. Miles, because I do my information with, I cross my T's and dot my I's, right? So to make sure that I understand from every 360 point of view. Yeah, I don't want the heat. I'd rather the cold. Not the cold. 60 degrees is good for me. 60, 58. That's comfortable for me. I could live in that all year round. Hoodie, sweater, and comfortable, or without, like a breeze. But anyway, there's a guy named Dr. Miles, and he has this thing that he says that he tells the women in his church. This is before he passed away, because allegedly he died in a plane. And I don't know, anybody that dies in a plane that was very powerful and has a lot of followers, I feel like it's a setup. They killed him, but I don't know. I dislike the heat too. It's uncomfortable. I don't like it. I can't deal with it. So Dr. Miles preaches this thing where he teaches the ladies in his congregation, and he says, do not compare me to your husband. That your husband's the man of the house. You are to go and be submissive to him, not try to compare me or be the example for him. Like, he's his own person, he's his own man, and I believe in that. Like, how is it that women go to church and actually put the pastor on a pedestal and make him sound and be like he's perfect, or he's God himself? He's a messenger. That's it. He just comes and actually preaches what he read and studied, and becomes theologian, and he teaches you from what he has been informed, which is basic limit information. And they all follow the same principles, same rules, and same practices, right? Because it sounds watered down, sounds the same, it sounds repetitive. I was in church for 5-6 years, so I understand. I went to an all Caucasian church where they were kind of very on the judgmental side, right? And they would just look. I would literally sit right behind the pastors, and that was the second row. The whole second row would be empty because they see a hood Spanish kid on that row, and they wouldn't sit next to me. But I wouldn't take it personal. I would see it as the ignorance. Ignorance is basically it, because I don't believe in the racism, because I don't want to attract that into my world. I don't believe in hate because I don't want to attract that into my world. There's plenty of people who are envious, but that's because that's what they show. What's to be envious is because they see something within me that they wish they had. So you can only point on something that you wish you could become, because you can see that person is being in freedom while you're a prisoner of your own beliefs. I don't live locked up in my mind. I'm as free as a bird, and I fly. You know where your route is? Follow the echoes of your heart. I always say. It's because people are envious because they wish they can be them, right? And when you wish you can be somebody, it shows a lack of confidence. It shows a lack of trust and a lack of belief and a lack of change within yourself. You're limited from your own. Why are you so busy caught up envying someone else when you could put that same energy into yourself and work on yourself mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, and anything else in between that, right? People don't work on their self-esteem either. It's like, come on, do something about yourself. You don't like something about yourself? Go and do self-care, self-love, Yes, I had a girl that hated on me. She mocked you every move, but I'm sure she copied a lot of the ways that you did, a lot of things that you did your way. I feel like I would hate to fit in the crowd. I'd rather stand out and stand alone and be by myself and have the courage to be me in my own lane than to sit in a crowd and be uncomfortable because I don't really agree with it, but it's just because I don't have the confidence or the courage to stand alone just so I can fit in. Nah, I can't do it. Put it like this. To the point of, I'm in New York and I get my gym clothes from London, and I'm in New York, just so that I know that no one in the gym is gonna have anything that I wear, just because I don't want to look like the person standing next to me or in the same room or walking down the street or 3 states over. It's gonna be rare. 90 miles. I agree with you on the 99%. I refuse to. Nah, I'd rather be that 1%. Stand against the grain, and you're gonna get a lot of resistance, right? But at the end of the day, it's either power versus force. By, I forget his name. Power is operating in your natural state, being yourself, right? And then there's forcing things. Like, let's just say I'm dating someone and I'm forcing this person to be with me. Like, what kind of... That's immaturity, right? Like, that's controlling. That's manipulative. That's... I don't like to use the word toxic because it's like a fad. You know, like, I'm not doing any of that. I believe in the masculine and feminine energy, right? Everybody has both. Women naturally in the heart, feminine, which is the receiver, Men, giver, masculine, thinker. That's why we are logical thinkers and women are emotional creatures, because they feel everything. They're sensitive. That's why they're always intuitive to their spirit. When they're intuitive, they are more quicker intuitive than a man is, because they are naturally inclination with their heart. The moment when I used to go to church, and the one thing I used to recall, that I would always see women in front, dancing and everything, worshiping God in the front. Why? Because they operate out of their heart. Men are logical thinkers, so our pride, our ego is going to get in our way and stop us from being like, I'm not a chick. The first thing we're going to think is like, I'm not a woman, so it's not for me, not my place to be in the front. Walk alone, live alone, be alone. And at the end of the day, you die alone, isn't it? It is a privilege to have someone to be next to you, but if you have to live in this world alone, so be it. Why is it that when you hit a certain age, you're looked at if something's wrong with you just because you're single? But yet, if you look at all the people who are in a relationship or married are miserable. So you're telling me you want me to join the crowd, you want me to join the masses just so that I can be miserable with you in the same boat. I refuse to. I'm happy and I'm alone and I'm good by myself. See, a lot of people always ask me, why is it that I'm alone? And I can tell you, I have the most peace that you can never have. You can't buy the peace that I have. Same here. I think I don't even have the time for it. Let's be honest. And I don't look for being with someone, honestly. Right? It takes too much time and energy. In order for you to invest into a woman, you have to feed a woman. You got to give your energy. You got to give her time. She needs attention. She needs affection. She needs caress. She needs to be all of the above. I ain't got the time. My time is so that I can invest in my mind. My mind allows me to find roadmaps to other Dr. White, yes. But when you do have those conversations with the certain people, you end up having deep lost of time. It's not lost of time. It's more like time will fly by with certain people that you're able to have a conversation with that will always leave you amazed, but at the same time you feel like there's two types, right? There's people that you have a conversation with where you feel drained, energy vampires, or you feel uplifted. Those are who inspire you, not motivate you. Motivate you is temporary. Inspire means in spirit, inside your spirit. If you're able to inspire someone or aspire, that's operating out of that. Either people are going to respect it or they're going to stand ground with you and not acknowledge it, but they're going to honor it. Right? Because at the end of the day, is people need time for themselves. People need space. They need their peace. They need there's people who go to a spa and spend 3 hours. That's time for them to be by themselves, for themselves, and pampering themselves. Okay, now when it comes to being in a relationship and it was a contaminated, dysfunctional, broken, hard relationship, when you come out, you're broken, you're lost, and you feel like you need to go back. It's like a retreat, right? No, definitely no disrespect, no. It's all about loyalty and honesty and openness. We are all one, man or woman. Somehow, some way, you came to this earth prior. This is not the first time you're visiting here. And I call it visiting because at the end of the day, you will deplete from here. You will exit and you will go somewhere. But where was I? You can't you gotta stand your ground when it comes to your boundaries, because people will test you and they will walk all over you. And if you're not willing to take a stand, FaceTime me when you're done. Sure. I gotta figure out how to do the scheduling thing, by the way. I'll talk to you later. Oh yeah, back to the whole relationship thing. So you come out a broken relationship. A friend of mine was telling me, and she painted a perfect picture. She goes, imagine a vase, right? So this vase is perfect. It gets broken. You can crazy glue all the pieces back together, but she says there will be little gaps in the vase that when you glued it, you can see the little spaces, but it's filled in with glue. You fill it up with water, it can still contain it, but it will never be the same when it was found. And I said, yeah, you know how many people are broken? Some are lost. Some don't know their way back. They went down that spiral and just kept going down. Others are lost. Some are sitting in darkness, don't know what to do. All they have to do is take a stand and ignite the light within them. Shine where you at. Dare to believe in yourself. Get out of the masses and dare to stand alone. But to refuse to experience love again, you're only robbing yourself of experiences, because at the end of the day, wear your heart on your sleeve and don't be afraid to get your heart broken. Sometimes you go through heartache and pain because there's lessons and teachings for you to learn. Damn, the time flew by. There's lessons for you to learn. You know how they always say, either you're a lesson or you're a blessing. Which one of the two? Some people ask me, what are you, a lesson or a blessing? I'm like, well, definitely a blessing, because I come to deposit. I never walk into someone's presence, space, without being able to deposit an investment. It's almost like sowing a seed. Because when I walk away, if it's permanently, you'll know that you'll never experience another spirit like myself. Okay, so let me tell you this, Dr. White, right? Make a list of all the qualities that you want from this partner that you want. It doesn't mean you want the person right this moment and now. It's just that make it like a blueprint per se, right? Make a list at least anywhere from 10 and more. If you have more qualities that you expect from this to have on this list on the expectation. And when you're done with the list, become that list. All that you listed in that list, become that list. And you will gravitate naturally that person that matches your energy and frequency. And next thing you know, you found your mate. Because of everything that you expect from someone else, expect it from yourself first. Become it. Be it. So there's nothing that I'm saying that's new to you. And there's areas that are loopholes, right, that we missed. That we missed and haven't filled in them gaps per se. And when you fill in them gaps, you're going to see and realize that there's little areas that need working still within yourself, right? Because listen to the tone when you speak about the opposite sex. Is it resentful? Is it bitter? Is there anger? Is there resentment? Is there hatred? Is there, or is it peaceful? Is it loving? Is it caring, nurturing? Is it compassionate? Like, it has so many elements to the condition of your heart will reflect on how you think of the opposite sex. Personally, I hold no grudge, no malice, nothing towards my past. I made peace with my past. I have a list. It's very long, so that's why it's taking so long. I expect a lot. I have a high regard of a standard. I'm gonna learn and accept. Of course, agreed. As long as it's healthy and positive, more than willing to learn. I always say I'm a student. If I ever come into anyone's life, I always call myself a student because I'm willing to learn whatever that you might be. You might know something that I don't. So I'm willing to learn, listen, and absorb. I'm like a sponge. I take it all in. And I always tell people, someone told me not too long ago, isn't that overloading? How do you retain information if you're reading constantly and learning from a podcast and learning from a video and learning from here and there and so on and so forth? I say I'm just like a computer. You'll be your computers, cell phones, TVs, radios are all duplicate of your mind. It's the capacity of your own, the power of your mind. The computer is a reflection of memory, right? It contains memory. How much memory can it retain? It's a human mind. Is that you've been programmed and conditioned to believe that your mind is limited. You have to constantly be able to learn. I say I'm a student of life, and I'm always a student, because the moment I become a master is the moment that I've mastered everything. Self-mastery, that's your finances, your health, and relationships. The three that matter the most. Your health, relationships, and your finances. You master the three self-masteries. I'm sure there's probably more, but those are the three most important. Because without health, you can't live. Without relationships, you can't have communications and interactions with people. You become a loner. You're isolation. That's not good either. And you need finances. You need money to make things happen. And doesn't mean just because you're wealthy that you're evil. You're able to be mobile. You have the freedom. And stop envying people who have the finances and whatever it is that they wish to do with their finances. Who cares? They got it. Focus on yourself. Invest in yourself. Invest in your mind. Invest in your health. Like, you're naturally a millionaire and you freaking live under your own privileges, underestimating your greatness and power. How significant you really are, the qualities that you hold and pertain within yourself. That's the key, isn't it? To focus on self and do the very thing that self makes happy. The key to happiness is making the choice. It's just a decision. It's that easy. It's like flicking the light on or off. Either you're happy or you're depressed. Either you're sad or you're miserable. Which one is it that you're going to try to be? I feel like happiness is simple. It's a choice. Worried about other people. You got to worry about yourself. You got too much time on your hands if you start worrying about other people. I feel like you're wasting your time when you worry about what someone else is doing when you should be focusing on yourself. This is what I always say though, and this is how I live. I live unattached because at the end of the day, if I don't wake up tomorrow morning, what is there? Thank you, Laura. At the end of the day, right? I live unattached because you never know if you're gonna wake up tomorrow. But I don't take anything personal from what someone says about me. Because I see it this way. However somebody may see me, it's just a reflection of how they see themselves. You can't see something unless you can relate to it. So if you can see something within me, it's relating with your own personal judgment towards yourself. So I don't take nothing personal anymore. Recently, I think it was last week, somebody was trying to get in the live and the person was a little funny. And I was letting him ride, like, go ahead, enjoy yourself, right? Like, it's free world. But when he started getting disrespectful to the female, I was like, hold up, man. You in my live now. Now I got to step up and say something. I was letting you rock. But when you're being disrespectful to someone else, I'm not tolerating that. So I'm one who takes a stand for when there's bullying going on specifically. I don't tolerate that for nobody. If it's being done in my presence and I see it, it's not going to keep happening, not around me. You got to live for the moment. You can't. You got to live for the moment because you're not promised tomorrow. Right? Like, people always plan for 10 years from now. Like, who said you're going to be here in 10 years? I have a 10-year-old daughter, and I don't tell her. I always tell her, I want to see you do your best. I want to see you do great. I want to see you do amazing things. I always feel her positive. So the first thing I ever taught her, and I think she was about 7 years old, there was a post that I found. And it says, it says, poor people have TVs and rich people have libraries. Now, I showed my daughter that and I taught her that at a young age. I said, rich people have libraries. The wealth of information, the wealth of knowledge, but the wealth becomes when you put it into practice, right? Like my mom used to always tell me, knowledge is power. And then I came across something that explained the rest of that sentence. Knowledge is power is the moment that you put it into practice. So I told my mom that. I said, it's funny you told me knowledge is power, but you didn't finish that sentence. Let me finish it for you, because now I'm going to teach you something. I said, knowledge is power, but it's not power until you put it into practice. And the moment you put it into practice, it becomes power. If not, knowledge is power, but it's only information if you don't only just read about it. My mom is very, very, I'm blessed and lucky to have her as a mother. She shared a lot of knowledge and information for a long time, and now it's the other way around. I still learn from her to this day, but for the most part, she called me and I talk to her and she opens up and she's transparent. I always shoot, and she's like dumbfounded. She's always like, how do you read me? How did you know? How did you come up with that? How do you see that? And I'm like, Mom, you're my mother. I can look through your eyes just through the phone. I can tell. I can read. I can sense. You're my mother. I pick up on your frequency. Frequency is just a radio station. It's what you're tuned into. I can see it in your eyes. They say the eyes is the gateway to someone's soul. If you want to see what the person's really living through, look through their eyes. You'll connect with their heart. And I wasn't even going to touch on that. It was supposed to be on mental health. Men's mental health at that. Because I think it's still June. Teach your son at a young age, because it prepares them. My mom, when I was young, she was always spitting knowledge at me. Always, always, always. And I think that's why I became so addicted to knowledge. I think that's why it's like a drug. It's like a high for me, personally, to read and come across some information. Because once I come across some information, it's like, oh shit, a new discovery. And I'll write it down in a notebook. And people always ask, how long it took you to read that book? I was like, it took me 2 months. They're like, but why it took you so long? Because everything that literally stood out to me, I wrote it down. But guess what? After I'm finished reading that book, I could go back and tell you things that if you ask somebody else that's read the book too, if we started at the same time, I guarantee you the other person will finish before me. But I'll guarantee you, but when I walk away from that book, the information that I attained, I'll remember more than the person that read it before me. Gotta learn something new every day. If you don't learn something new every day, you're not exercising your mind. The mind is like a muscle. So everything that I do, I reflect in reference to the gym. And everything that happens in the gym is a reflection of how life really works. And if you go, and anything you do in the gym is the way you approach life. You have to. The one thing I remember reading, I remember Joel Osteen says that 90 or 87% of the people who graduate after college or high school will never pick up a book again and stop learning. And I said, what a waste. Because the thing that I started to do, I actually learned more after school. I've read more after school than I ever did while I was in school. It's crazy. I refused to read when I was younger because at the end of the day, I've always felt like, don't tell me what to do. So I was one of these natural rebellious type. I'm constantly writing. My daily morning thoughts, I actually put them into... On Fridays, what I do after work is I'll come home and I'll put on YouTube and I'll pull out my writing and I'll read it with a beat in the background and I'll record it at the same time. So it's kind of like a motivational words of affirmation, words of wisdom. I don't know what to call it yet. Like I want to put it out there so that people can actually put it into use. Oh wow, congratulations. And I know the process of publishing a book, right? Like if it's self-published, you got to pay for the self-publishing. Then they'll put it up on different platforms for you, like Amazon and Apple. I think it's Apple. Well, anyway, Apple has their own library and you're able to purchase books through there. So I know the process, and it can get frustrating, especially when they do the editing and you pay them to do the editing and they don't do as expected. Like their editing sucked. And the last time I published a book was in 2011, but I never stopped writing. So what I do on Fridays, I'll do the recordings off of my writings, and I do this. Oh wow, great. I gotta look it up. And what is it in reference to? Like, writing for me is an outlet. And sometimes I get lost to train of thought, but then when I write, I'm fully focused. It's the first thing I do when I first wake up in the morning, is that I'll go sit in silence and write. It says don't use your phone, but your phone is actually what I use to actually write down my thoughts. And when I write down my thoughts, they become revelation for other people, because sometimes I share them with friends and they're like, this is exactly what I needed. You have no idea how this influences me, or this got me pumped today, or every time a comment is either it was relatable or it was something that they needed. Oh, so you overcome the very thing that you was afraid of, and now you live victorious and triumphant after, happily ever after. I get it. I get it. I really get it. Just that little bit, I can tell you what it was about already. Straight to the end. Hey, Lucy. Free and loving your life, that's because you have escaped the captivity you was under. Well, hello. As you can see, you can tell just off of what you said to me, I can tell you from front to back what the book was about right away, because of all the reading that I've done. I can pick up, and it happens the same way when it comes to conversations, and I can actually finish the other person's at the other person's sentence, for to say. Today, thank you, Lucy. Stay up. Keep your head up. I know you're going through a state and a moment in times where it gets hard and it feels challenging, and you feel like the world is crumbling and crushing right before your eyes, but always hold on and believe for better days. It's not the end. It's actually a chapter being ended and starting a new chapter. Don't worry, don't fear. Just allow your heart to continue to be open. I know. I can tell. And actually reach out to Remy. She was telling me that you were going through it. So whatever it is that you were putting up or out, she picked up and informed me and told me about it. So I know that the loss of both parents can be challenging, and I can't speak on it because I have not. My mom is still present, but I don't know my dad. And my world would fall apart if only two people, and you lost your grandmother at that. No, yes, if I'm not mistaken. I know you lost the both parents. But as far as, like, if my world was to be, it's my mom and my grandmother. It's the only two women that I have that I hold dearly to my heart. Yeah, Lucy's going through it. That's why. And for people who actually have lost a family, especially parents, that's like another degree. It's another level, right? Like, that's harder than losing anybody. Losing anybody is hard itself. But Lucy's like in a challenging time, and I can't imagine. I can't say I can relate, and I've been there, but I can say that I'll stand and encourage you through it. And my heart goes out to you. That's hard. It's difficult and it's challenging. And it sucks. But you always got to know that those, you got to be happy for them, because at the end of the day, they're not suffering, they're not here, but they're transition, and you can still speak to them because you are a energy and they are spirit, and so are you. The moment you realize is that you start to have those conversations, and you might think you look or sound crazy, but you're not. If you sit down in silence into your room and just quiet the room and speak to them, if they was in the room, act like they're there, have those conversations, talk to their pictures, and I'm sure you'll have some peace there. That's because you absorbed a lot of negative energy from different people in the past. Ouch. Wow. Hey, Addie. You know, you had a lot of negative people that you've been surrounded. You're going to have to start cutting people out in order to get your peace. I'm good. How are you? Lucy, you got to start cutting people out your circle. And it gets hard, right, when you have to do it alone, because you want there's somebody to be there. But the strength is found within. The peace is found within, and the love is found within. It's never on the external. The external world is just a result, and is a manifestation of your own mind and beliefs and your truths. Yeah. I'm so sorry. Jackie. Yeah, it sucks for a lot of people that have experienced those loss, and it ain't easy, and there's not the right answer. Hi. Like, there's never the right answer. Don't worry about it. Nobody here is saying that you're wrong or right. Like, somebody was going through something, and you know, it's lost the content. You don't really know what was going on, but it's all love. In this space, in this room, the intention and motive, and it's always to be about love. Lucy, focus on the good stuff, the good times, and the laughters that you experience with both parents and everyone else. And remember the good times. Remember all the positive stuff. Remember the good, because if you focus on the negative, you're only going to keep attracting negative situations, thoughts, ideas, images, and memories. You got to get out of that state and start focusing on the good, focus on the positive, and focus on, you have kids of your own. You just can't let yourself go. Can't. You got kids to live for. You know, you got to hold on. You got to hold on. This life is not for too long. Thank you. You got to do something that makes you happy naturally. Whatever that is, that hobby, that gift, that talent, and find happiness within that. You live for them now like your parents lived for you. It's passing on the torch, isn't it? It's the next in kin, the next generation pass the torch down. Imagine what your parents had to deal with when it came to their parents in the past. How did they hold up? How did they sustain? And how did they keep it cool? How did they conquer and overcome those circumstances that they were under? You got to give credit to the old school, man. They were different. They were built different, and they were taught different. They believed different. Like Dr. White said. Exactly what I just said. Find the good. Focus on the good. Remember the good. You know, in this space is always about uplifting whoever might be falling. Just so that you know this is not a gimmick and it's not something that I don't get nothing out of this. I'm not on here for any of those, whatever those gifts and stuff people get on for. For me, it's more about impacting a life, inspiring a life, or awakening a mind. If I can do any of the three, then I've done my part, and that gives me peace. Because it's only so much that I can have as retaining information and knowledge and not be able to share it. It's like sowing a seed. Thank you, everybody that's trying to support and encourage Lucy at the moment. Just want to take an acknowledgement to all of you guys for that. Appreciate that. You know, if it's hard, it's tough. People who lose someone, it's not easy. But as far as people coming out of a toxic whatever relationship that's kind of left you broken, don't be afraid. First heal. And I mean heal, that means going back as far as healing from your parents. Any grudges, any resentment, any bitterness, any anger, any hatred you may hold in your heart that goes far as back as your parents, start healing from there. Forgiveness, have compassion, and let it go. Don't hold on to those because it's only going to make you sick. That's where cancer and all these diseases come from, if you want to be real about it. And if they tell you have cancer cells in your body naturally. So there's not... It's... Anyway. I don't want to get into the big pharma situation either. That's the most important thing to do, isn't it? It's just to heal. You heal so that you won't be broken and wounded again. You heal from your wounds instead of just other people just put a band-aid over something that needs stitches. Like, how is it that you're going to allow yourself to have stitches over something that you know needs more attention and more aid to it? Like, you got to think. You got to get past the past memories, the hurts and the pains that you have gone through and experienced in any relationship. So as far as your parents go, all the way up to your present day and moment in time, you got to heal all those times, all those fragments and all those parts of your past. In order to be healed, you have to be able to let go of the past. And letting go of the past for some of you is just like it's impossible or it's very challenging. But the past, you're allowing it to have more power over you than you having power over yourself. How is it that you're going to allow something from the past to dictate your future? So a constant attribute is a constant, repetitive, recycled, relived, only to experience all over again. Thank you for the roses. Thank you. I don't come on here for gifts though. I come here to just spread knowledge and love. That's my main goal. Show love. You have the right mindset. You're already on the right path on your journey right now. There's a lot of people who don't know how to get to that place. They don't know how to bring awareness into their brokenness. And no one shows or teaches anyone how to become their best version of themselves. Like, it's constantly like a taboo. It's something that you can't show or teach. Dr. White. What you gotta do is you gotta be able to forgive and forget and let go. And let go in love. Because if you let go in anger, you let go in rage. If you go and let go in resentment, you let go in bitterness, all that really does is it's just the next person that comes back in comes exactly with what you left out. What you dismissed the past with. It'll come and be filled into your present, future, and time with the same bitterness, and anger. It's all love. Always love. That's the main theme. You were created and designed to love. Why not live with it? Show love to everybody. That's the main theme. The one thing they're going to ask you, yourself is going to ask yourself is that, what did you learn? And a lot of times people don't know how to move on is because they haven't forgiven. That's when you really moved on. That's when you really forgiven, is by forgiving someone for the, the whole Jesus thing. It wasn't, the teachings weren't taught to create followers. It was meant to create leaders and to have the Christ-like mindset. That's what that whole theme was about. And to actually live in love. To have compassion for people. To forgive people. And that's how you heal. By letting go and live in love. I live by 3. I live life every day. I laugh all the time, and I walk in love. And they say that love is the most powerful force in the universe. So imagine everybody in every race and every color and every place, how they can relate to you is just by love alone. Oh yeah, I live like that at work. I make everything and anything into something so it could be portrayed, and it turns into a joke that I can have to laugh no matter what. And you have no choice but to laugh around me, because at the end of the day, if you ain't, I'm changing your frequency and energy around me. If it's one of those people that I can't get rid of, but I know they're in a low state, but I bring them in a high state, and just by laughter alone, I'm healing them. Little do you know, the more you laugh, just intentionally watch something that makes you laugh crazy. Any comedy movies and shows, and see how much energy is going to be revived into your body. So you're constantly healing people out there. Live life, man. You're told to chase a job, a dream, but you don't have time for yourself. You don't have time for the simple things. You're never told just to put on a smile. Like, right? Just to put on a smile on every day, all day, for no reason. You're never told any of that. You're told to work till your bones give out. Why? So you could keep paying them high ass taxes, so they could keep getting rich. And I'm not speaking about all the rich. I'm talking about particular rich. And those are the dynamics that are actually running the globe. It's a society, right? All they ask is trust. Of course, your patients need your attention, they need your medicine, they need your information, they need your knowledge, and they need your experience. And that puts them in a higher state and a better position, and it leads them to a better health. Of course. Imagine that. Ask that question to everybody. How is it that you can't live life without enjoying it in the way, along the way, right? Oh my, I haven't seen you in a long time. Imagine you're told you can't. Imagine you're told you can't. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get off. That's grandma. And she gonna keep calling and interrupting the live while I'm on this. She will not give up either. So I'm gonna have to cut this short. Thank you, Dr. White. Lucy, stay up. Everybody else that came into the live. Julissa, nice to see you. I haven't seen you in a long time. Everybody that came through, appreciate it. Yeah, I know, I gotta call her back. Thank you for everybody that joined the live. It was fun. Till next Friday, hopefully around the same time. My daughter's in Canada, so I'm not rushing for my daughter. I'm rushing for my grandmother. Enjoy your weekend. Thank you, love. Mi amor. Appreciate the love. Thank you for everybody that shouted out and reached out and said towards Lucy. And oh man, you just came at the long time. It's ended now. Everybody, thank you for coming in. Appreciate it. Thank you for the love. Hopefully inspired in some way, motivated in another way, and enjoy your weekend. I'll catch you on the next one. Love.